Hey guys, this is a long playing review for Biff on the Amstrad CPC, and every now and again I like to throw a little bit of a curveball with my choice of games for long plays. And I guess many of you wouldn't have heard of Biff before and wondering why I'm doing this one. Well, I kind of remembered it recently, and there's two reasons why I'm doing it. Well, firstly, it did once appear on an Amstrad Action cover tape, and I never got very far in it, and I've often wondered if I could ever complete it. And secondly, because of the software house that released this game, I was really intrigued by this because it was released by a company called Beyond Belief in 1992, and basically they were a publishing house for set up in a guy's bedroom for other like bedroom programmers and independent freelancers that perhaps weren't good enough for some of the bigger software companies. Submit games to them, and they'd get them published and put into like WH Smith's and other sort of major retailers via distribution. And this was as late as 1992 and 1993, when actually a lot of those places were sort of refusing to sort of stock 8-bit games. But I was just intrigued that some guy would set up his own publishing house in his bedroom and get other bedroom coders and get games into the shops as late as that, when the 8-bit market had completely died off. And this was pretty much their first sort of big release. And check out the back of the box there for their design and artwork, completely ripping off Codemasters style. Very naughty and very cheeky. A bit like the protagonist in this game, Biff. Biff is a very, very cheeky, naughty monkey. He's basically upset his mother, has been kicked out the tree house, and has to go around and collect various items to make amends with his mum. And there's the story here on the title screen. You take the part of Biff, guide him around the jungle, collecting objects and solving puzzles. Help him to please his mother so she will let him back into the treehouse. Any flashing objects you find is the next object to use, but where you do use it, that's all the help you're going to get. Anyway, so let's start this up, and basically it's kind of like a Dizzy clone. Go around, pick up objects, solve puzzles. So you can see there's a flashing object there. That's the next object you need to pick up. Whoa! You got your energy in the top right hand corner there, and you want to avoid sort of the various strange creatures of the jungle, which don't really look like jungle creatures. And you like jump around from platforms to platforms on a single screens. Oh yes, we need to pick up these wire cutters as well. They're not flashing because only one object at a time flashes, but we can pick up 3 objects at a time just to sort of well, save a bit of time having to backtrack and go through for one object at a time. But yes, you first of all need the wire cutter and the power card, and you just simply need to go to the location and screen where you need to use and press the fire button, which we're going to do here. Fire button for the power card, and then the fire again for the wire cutters to cut that thing on the left. And there we go. And you get little messages in the bottom left corner there telling you, well, giving you hints and clues of what to do. We've got to complete the rope bridge next. And thankfully the rope there, which obviously you'll use to build a rope bridge, is on the next screen, flashing away. So, this is a fairly standard sort of Dizzy style game fare. Press fire. There you go. You don't need to be in the exact specific spot to use an object. You can be anywhere on the screen and press the fire button, and it will automatically use the item in the correct place. And on to making the scarecrow now, as it tells me in the bottom left status window. You also get a percentage in the top left corner there. Oh, pick up the clothes there. They're flashing away, so that's our next object. Yeah, pretty easy so far, although I didn't get very far in the game when I first played it from the Amstrad Action magazine cover tape. And as I was saying, in the top left corner there, you've got a percentage of how far into the game you are, how much you've completed. Now we're already on 12%, which is nice. Careful of your energy. You get a maximum of 150 for your energy, and you get like a few points every time you sort of solve a puzzle. Otherwise, there is one banana you can pick up in the game which will sort of restore your health, but there's only one item that does that, and that's the banana. So yes, be very careful about walking into yes, baddies, because they could be just waiting right on the other side of the screen, which is annoying. So I'll try and make a note of certain screens where there might be an enemy waiting, that potentially could be waiting on the side of the screen. So we just made the scarecrow there. Oh, and there's the banana I was talking about. I won't pick that up for now though. We'll leave it. So right near the end of the game. There we go, plant the seeds, and there's chocolate seeds flashing. And basically guys, we're going to make a box of chocolates for Biff's mum. And when she's completed a puzzle, you need to return to the tree house, then give it to her. Although you don't actually see the mum in the game, you just see the outside of the tree house. Now this is a Spectrum port. You can probably tell by the graphic style it's in monochrome. Although it's nicely detailed actually. Oh yes, we just used the chocolate seeds there to make a chocolate tree. Strange. Ah yes, and we've automatically get a box of chocolates there as well. And yeah, got monochrome graphics. Nice animations though, and it is nicely detailed. Although it's actually got less colour than the Specky original, which is annoying. And it moves smoothly enough, and there's no slowdown. But it's just you know, a typical flick screen, Disney style adventure. But absolutely no sound effects, no music whatsoever, not even anything on the title screen, which is a bit annoying. But this is a $2.99 budget game, so you can't have everything. And not bad. But yeah, as I was saying, this is a Specky port. And most of the games that were done by Beyond Belief, they were predominantly a Spectrum budget house, set up by, I forget the name of the guy actually. There's an interesting, you can find an interesting interview with the guy that set up Beyond Belief on the World of Spectrum site, where he talks about things. They were predominantly making Spectrum games, but realised they couldn't get them distributed to any of the major stores because the distributors refused to distribute games just for one system. They had to be across all platforms. So they had to do an Amstrad version and a Commodore 64 version before any distributor would pick it up. That was interesting to know actually. And this is around about, obviously, the early 90s. This is around about 1992. So quite risky for Beyond Belief entering the market like they did. So what happened with Beyond Belief? Oh, actually, first of all, here we're just going to give the chocolates to our mum. Press fire at the tree house. There we go. We get a clue for the next thing, chop chop. So we walk past an axe, and we've just made a tree. Can you guess what we need to do? But yes, as I was saying, they had to port the games onto various formats, at least the Amstrad and Commodore 64, otherwise the distributors wouldn't pick it up. So I think what happened was they did quite a few Spectrum games, and actually had quite a few in the bag. And I think from the World of Spectrum site I can see games like Super Wonder Dog, Kung Fu Warriors, Hands of Stone, which was a beat 'em up, Shell Shock, Soldier 1, Snare, quite a lot of games, but I don't think any of them actually they managed to get converted to the Spectrum and to the Amstrad and Commodore 64, which probably meant that they never got it distributed and probably just fizzled out. Really, I'm just guessing that they couldn't find programmers for the other formats and get them done in time, and eventually sort of gave up really, because by the end of 1993, Smiths and Boots and Virgin and all the major stores that used to stock 8-bit games weren't anymore. Well, I do see they did release, apparently release a game for the Amstrad in as late as 1995 called Cyberboy, which is just a Pac-Man clone. That's the only other game they did on the Amstrad apart from a sort of an average soccer manager game. That was 1995, so I guess they must have resorted to sort of mail order. But I never saw it advertised in Amstrad Action for sale or anything. But yeah, so there you go, beyond belief. Very interesting that someone would attempt to set up a publishing house as late as 1992. But there you go, that's beyond belief for you. And a lot of the Spectrum games that they did program ended up on cover tapes of various Spectrum magazines, like Your Sinclair, I guess, or something. And poor old Biff ended up on the Amstrad Action cover tape. And is a reasonably okay adventure game. I think if it had a nice jolly tune, some sound effects, and added some more colour to the graphics, this would have been a really good budget release, and definitely a very good game for the Amstrad Action cover tapes, because around that time a lot of the games on the magazine tapes were pretty poor. Does anyone remember Rick the Roadie on the Amstrad Action cover tape? That was an appalling game. And this is pretty good. The only problem for me is that it's just a bit too slow. You just sort of trudge around the screens, and it takes forever to get from one end of the map to the other. It kind of loops around the world we're in the jungle. So there's a lot of sort of backtracking and walking around, and this is why the game and video is so long, at nearly 50 minutes. It's not particularly hard to work out. For example, we've got the message there saying if the lock is stiff. So we've got a lock and we've got a stiff lock. So I guess we'll need a key and probably some oil or grease to get the key in the lock and turn it. So yeah, picked up some oil. We picked up a key. I've also picked up the explosives because when we find a lock, we'll drop down into a mine and there'll be a wall that needs blowing up. So yeah, just follow my route throughout this game, guys, basically. And I'm not gonna commentate through the entire game. I just thought this was a fun, quick little long play for me to do. I can't imagine it'd be particularly exciting to watch, but hey, a long play is a long play, and if I can get as many games done as I can, is a good thing for my channel. And for any of you out there who always wondered how to complete Biff, well, here's the solution. And there we go. There's a few items that are red herrings in the game, and I forget which ones now. Just follow my path, really. Just the main annoyance for me though is having enemies perhaps just waiting on the edge of the next screen and you're losing energy. So be prepared to sort of jump straight up just in case. That can be very frustrating because your energy zaps down very quickly, leading to a rather frustrating game over. Got an ice cream van in the jungle. I'm not sure what those heads are. Are they sort of severed heads on a stake, on a pole? Don't know, a bit grisly really. But yes. Anything else to mention before I leave you to watch the rest of Biff? Not much really. No. We've all seen this style of game before. I do like this sort of the little touches of like the messages and hints that appear in the status window in the bottom left. Oh yes, just the other controls really for like objects and item manipulation. You press the down key to pick up an item, but you can't drop it. You can only swap it when you've got 3 items are picked up, and then that item remains in the place you dropped it. So there's no key to sort of select the item and then drop it. So they've simplified it a lot, but it makes it a little bit annoying if you're trying to work out what items go where and what to do with them, and you've accidentally picked up an item you didn't want to. You're going to have to carry it around till you've got 3 items and then swap it with another item and stuff. That's a little frustrating, but I'm kind of glad that they didn't go down the route of a lot of sort of arcade adventures where you have to use an object on an item, and then sometimes you have to be exactly in the right spot by the right sort of pixel to use the item, and that can be very frustrating. But here in Biff, you just press 5 button when you're on the right screen, anywhere on the screen, which simplifies things a lot and perhaps make it a bit too easy really. This is an awkward screen to get across actually, this one, when you're moving from right to left, because you can't jump up on that platform there, but you can go in the other way. Oops, as you can see I've lost some energy. That screen's a real pain in the arse. So yeah, I'm just going to sort of sum up a bit of a review, I suppose. Interesting little title given its sort of history. A brave attempt to set up a publishing and software house in 1992 for 8-bit computers, when many stores were already stocking these games. But kind of cool that a few of these bedroom coders got to get their games published. If only maybe 2 or 3 actually did manage to get published by beyond belief. But the game itself, it's a decent enough budget game. Would have been a lot better if they put some extra colours, got some sound effects and music, and this probably would have got an above average score. But as it is, I can only really give it an average score of 6.5 out of 10. So, thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and I'm sure I'll be back with more videos very soon. Alright, cheers, bye.